Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life and Fun Friend Friday with my special guest, Steve Finch. I am so glad you are taking a moment to jump in and share with us. I love Fun Friend Friday, and now we're adding the Fun Friend Friday Festive Frock. Good morning, Steve. I'll be bringing you on in just a minute. While you're waiting, Steve, go ahead and make sure your phone is this way, and if you've got a power cable, go ahead and stick it in, because for some reason, Facebook Live dual screening thing drains a battery. I don't know what it is. Good morning, Greg. I am so glad to see you as well. Welcome, everybody, to Fun Friend Friday. Yeah, we've got the Festive Frock thing going here. As you can see, we decided we had to keep it going. I'm just going to tweak this a little. No, I'm not going to mess with it. Anyhow, so yes, and this Fun Friend Friday Festive Frock has fruit. So there's like cherries and lemons and pineapples. And I mean, who would design a fabric like this, let alone turn it into a shirt? But you know, Sonia kicked it off with the Fun Friend Friday Festive Frock. And I felt like we needed to give Steve a festive frock as well for our Fun Friend Friday. So this is it. Now you're all beginning to wonder, like, does he have a whole closet full of these? No. Like, I actually looked this morning and was like, oh yeah, we got the Festive Frocky, the Fruity shirt, whatever. Yeah, Fruity Friday with our Fruity Pebbles. I should have changed it to Fruity Pebbles. Anyhow, thank you everybody for joining me for Fun Friend Friday. Our guest Steve will be jumping in just a minute. Wanted to take a moment and recap yesterday. Make sure that you go back and listen to that. I had a lot of offline comments, a lot of people really buying in and encouraging themselves and encouraging others through their unique gifts. And so I want to make sure that you don't just do a one and done thing, that you set aside a number of days for the next 3 days, 7 days till the end of the month. I'm going to celebrate my uniqueness. I'm going to remind myself every single day that I am unique. And I'm going to stand in front of the mirror and say it out loud to myself at least 3 times. And I know that sounds really easy and really quick, but trust me, if you can go eye to eye with yourself and tell yourself the truth and value yourself and love yourself fully, world of opportunity opens up. All right, and I know many of us have friends and family and colleagues on the Carolina coasts, and yeah, it's going to be a long, hard day for them, having been through multiple hurricanes and cyclones. What I will say is just hunker down, stay where you're at, let the news and information come to you. Don't try and go to it. It's going to be a long, 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 long recovery, I have a feeling, based on the amount of rain that they're getting. I have been in Hugo, I've been in Wilma, I've been in another one. I forgot the other one. How quickly we forget. But anyhow, so prayers to those that are in it, and for those service members and those people who run into it, you know, our fire and our police and our emergency care workers and all of that. Man, 36 hours already probably on duty and still another 36 to go without a break. I thank you for your dedication and your service and your commitment, and just prayers of peace and proper timing. All right, well, it is time for Fun Friend Friday. And if this is your first, this is where I bring on a guest and we get to share knowledge, wisdom, experience. Who knows, we may create a business right in the middle of Fun Friend Friday. I don't know. That's kind of the fun of it. It's unknown, it's spontaneous, it's just happening. So what you got to do now is hit the share button, tell somebody they got to come in the room and join you for Fun Friend Friday. I'm going to invite my guest Steve to join us. And the way we do this is, if you want to try this, I always find phone to phone is best. Laptop to phone and iPad to phone. It just, Facebook, it's just Facebook. So phone to phone, have both phones facing the same direction, not like this and one like this, because then they just don't compat. So have it like this. Then you look up at your friend on the screen, you hit the little button or their face, and it says, bring Steve on camera, and you hit. Now Steve is getting a message saying, can I come? Can I come? Please join our party. And then he hits yes, and it says he's adding, and then they come on screen. I will tell you, if you're trying this, it often takes a few times, or it takes a little while to connect. And so just relax, just breathe, and learn to ad-lib while it's happening. Let me check and see where Steve is at. Uh, It looks like it's still trying to add you. Go ahead and hit accept or hit like. Again, Steve, if you're on your iPhone or if you're on your Android, make sure that it's turned sideways and then hit the accept button. You can also, if you're doing this, you as the guest can go over and at the bottom of your Facebook screen, you sort of see that picture in picture thing. If you hit that, it says, I want to be added to your video or I want to be added to your show, and I can respond that way. So as we're waiting for Steve to connect and get through technology, I'm just double checking any messages. Go ahead and message me below too if you have. No answer on the live line. Well, Steve, you got to be on Facebook Live. I'll try you again here. He's rebooting. So we'll talk anyhow. So yesterday, the I'm unique, or what is unique about me. And we had talked about that. Make sure your phone is sideways. Yes, Greg. It is like a major, I don't know why Facebook does it that way, but if I'm sideways and you're standing up, for some reason it doesn't like it can't figure out like how to make us sit side by side. So, so I'm unique was yesterday. And you know, it's interesting because I got a lot of offline comments from people saying, I've never done that. I've never thought this was unique about me. I never thought that was unique. I thought everybody was. But the way that you reminded me, the way I do things, the way I add value into the world, the way I contribute to the world is unique. And so we all come from a different perspective. Hey, there he is. Yeah, it works. And I just keep on ad-libbing until it works. You know, it's live TV. So the way that you come into the world is the way that you are unique. And so don't be afraid to share that out. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning from not so sunny San Diego. It's kind of dark, so I can't tell you what it is.
You didn't wear a Fun Friend Friday frock.
No, this is as frocky as I get, and I figured, you know what? You got enough for both of us.
I know. This is like one of those shirts you only wear to parties where people are expecting you to show up wearing something like this. You don't wear it pridefully. You wear it in humor.
You look like a fruit salad with a smile.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's got things like there's cherries and I don't know what that's an apple and pineapples, and I thought it's a fruit shirt. Or
That's
I
right.
guess you have to be fruity to wear. I don't know. Maybe I just stand behind the bar and make fruit drinks. Maybe that's what it was. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Fun Friend Friday. How are you this morning?
Doing wonderful, doing wonderful. Got up bright and early this morning, of course. I always do. I'm a very early riser. Enjoy the morning hours because most of the world's asleep, quite frankly, and I enjoy just being able to spend some quiet time and reflection, and also just kind of mentally prepare myself for the day. And so I spend quite a bit of time doing that.
Well, and that's really where I want to start. But before I do, Steve is in San Diego, sunny San Diego, 98% of the time, on the coast, next to the sea, loving life. And you're always been California, born, raised California.
Yeah, I was born here in San Diego, 64 years ago. I did take a small tour of the United States, very small. Spent a year and a half in Georgia, where you're at, and then went to Louisville, Kentucky for a couple of years of Bible college, and then came back to San Diego.
So there are people that were actually born in California. Like not everybody is a migrant celebrity. Thanks, Denise, for the shirt. So what? And you're a JMT member, and we've connected through this and through JMT. But what I wanted to really sort of dig in and peel back a little bit is it's 5 a.m. or 5:05 San Diego time.
Yep.
And I have been consistently doing Facebook Live, and you have been consistently showing up at 5:05, well, 5 o'clock every morning for I don't know how long. Where does that discipline, or why is that discipline of 5 o'clock in the morning? Because I know if you're seeing me at 5, that means you got to be up at least at 4:55.
I'm up as early as 3:30, 4 o'clock every single morning. And you're just part of yeah, you're just part of the routine. And so what I do is I make sure that I'm available unless something unexpectedly comes up. I usually try to make sure to be available at 5 o'clock to listen in on what you're sharing. It it's important to me to be able to be a part of a community that has a like-mindedness,
Okay.
and the people that come and watch you are people that are very similar in their mindset to myself. And I've met some phenomenal people, believe it or not, in this group. And so,
It,
you know, it's
it's a great bunch of people. And so, teaching point number one, surround yourself with like minded people. Teaching point number two, Steve brought up, surround yourself with like minded people as early in the day as you can because they will determine the outcome of your day. Now,
mm-hmm.
you say you get up at 3, and I'm like at 5. What is I know that there is a ritual, there's a pattern, there's a discipline involved because nobody just rolls out of bed, has a cup of coffee, and lays on the couch for 2 hours.
Not unless you have something wrong with you. Um,
Or you have 2 children.
exactly. Well, my son's 42 years old, and so he is long since married and moved out of the house. So I don't have that issue. But there are times when I miss that. Trust me, you will someday. You know, I think the discipline I learned from when I used to gather with a couple of guys from Bible college. We used to go get together every single morning to have a cup of coffee and just spend some time reflecting in the Word to get our day started. And I didn't know anything about what I'm doing now in regards to personal development, personal growth, but I was just doing that because I enjoyed being in the companionship of fellow believers and we were spending time in the Word. And I found the discipline is not getting up in the morning. The discipline is going to bed early at night.
Set yourself up for success.
Exactly. You get up early in the morning because you discipline yourself to go to bed by 9:30. By 9:30, I'm ready to roll into bed.
I love that. Trust me, there are days that 7:30 I'm already going up and my kids think I'm crazy, but that's just I'm old and tired some days. So set yourself up for success. When you go to bed, do you know what, and being a person of faith, what your scripture reading is going to be in the morning, what your journal entry is going to be about, what you're going to do for that first 30 to 40 minutes when you jump out of bed?
Yeah. Yeah, I will usually take about the first 20 minutes to do some meditation just to kind of get my mind cleared and in the right place. And then I go through a Bible reading. Right now, I'm doing a reading through the New Testament, which I'll finish up by the end of this year.
Okay. So, and I always say, I walk and talk my first 30. I got to get my, like, same idea. So what is your meditation about? What is, a lot of people they think this meditation things is orange robes and temples on Tibet and, chimes and all of that. Talk about how you came into meditation and then what it looks like today. And if somebody was like, okay, what do I got to do at 3:30 in the morning, Steve? What does that sound like?
Well, typically my meditation surrounds the fact that I center in on kind of where my emotions are at and try to connect with those at the same time, not thinking too much about them. At this at that time, I also take the time to make sure that my mind is in the right place, that I'm in a place where I can receive that which is going to be brought to me that day. And I find that if I start my day off with that kind of an attitude, then I find that I'm more receptive throughout the entire day. So I'm not missing those opportunities. I know that when I didn't spend time meditating and setting my mindset and getting, my heart right, my spirit right before the day began, I missed a lot of what was happening. I think that sometimes things are brought to you to enrich you and to make you fuller. And of course, if you're distracted and your mind's not in the right place, it just completely goes right by you.
I so agree. And so So I agree. I see Greg is here. Greg's children were born in San Diego. I don't know where they're at now, but they were born there. So hopefully he didn't just leave them there. Um, so, and what I say, and people sometimes don't understand, and I'm glad that I need to first connect to me. And that means I need to like, okay, what am I feeling? And just like, what am I feeling? Like, what is my energy state today? Is it excited? Is it lethargic? Is it nervous? Is it, what is the energy that I'm feeling? What are the thoughts that I woke up with? Like, why is that in there? And I don't, as you say, over process it. I just sort of go through if we're a pilot doing that safety check on a plane and walking around and making sure there's two wings and a couple wheels and things. And then I move into connecting with divine, because I think until I know what this is doing, I'm not open to receiving what I should be from lessons and learning. So I like the way you say you spend about 20 minutes just doing the safety check.
Yeah, and that's a great analogy. My dad is a pilot and has had a number of planes, and I've gone flying with him, and that's part of the routine before you get ready to take off. Is you're going to make sure that there are certain things and aspects about that plane that are in order, and it's probably a very smart thing to do. And I would encourage someone that isn't doing this to, even if you don't you're not going to spend 20 minutes the very first day in meditation. You're going to work yourself up to that. So even if you just take 3, 4, 5 minutes and start there, and then go a week, 2 weeks doing that, and then increase it by another 5 minutes. But the problem with people is that they think, oh, I got to go from point A to point Z, and there's no stepping stones along the way. You got to stack those actions so that you can begin to grow in that area, and growth doesn't happen overnight.
Okay, so see, you're just dumping it. Stack the actions. Don't expect it A to Z. Just go from A to B and then see what happens once you get there. It's interesting because having been around both commercial and private pilots, even if the guy comes out and goes, yeah, Mr. Reed, you're all set, your plane's ready, I've checked it, it is still the pilot's responsibility to walk that plane. And no well-minded pilot would ever get in a plane that they haven't done some of the safety checks on their own. So I love the fact that you reminded us that we can't count on other people to check us in, that we've got to check ourselves in. And for a meditation, quick tip, and maybe one time next week I'll go over a few meditation techniques. But for me, if I'm sitting there and I start to feel like this, oh, I got to remember to take the car in and get the oil, one of those, I call them crazy monkeys running, I just sort of grab my hand visually and I just wipe it and set it in a basket. And the reason I visually set it in a basket is because that way I know where it is when I finish. If I try and go away, go away, go away, then it's like, where's it going? Where's it going? What if I forget? What if I forget? Oh my gosh, I can't forget that I got it. And so if I mentally just store all of those random thoughts in an invisible basket that's sitting beside me, I feel like all of a sudden it's like, okay, everything that I need to know is safely stored over here. Now I can relax. Because we all wake up in that, I got to get this done, and I'm all anxious and energy, and what's going to happen, and where's my energy going to be? So I love the fact that you do 20 minutes of meditation, then you go into your devotionals.
Yep.
And then where does fitness and family fit in?
Well, because I have the empty nest and it's just my wife and I, we also work at the same place. So we carpool to work every single day, Monday through Friday, and then we're together on the weekend. So we spend an awful lot of time together. So, I usually will take care of that once I get off of work. I give my 8 hours to my employer. I think that's the right thing to do, and give him 8 hours of my energy. And then after that, it's time for me to focus on myself.
So y'all heard that he doesn't get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, does his little meditation, does his little devotional, has his cup of coffee, and then about 10:30, 11, he goes to the senior center, plays a quick game of backgammon, and then goes home and takes a nap until 6 o'clock. No, he gets up and goes and gives a full hour, 8 hours to the boss man. and gets home around 5 or 6 o'clock. Well, you're in San Diego, gets home around 8 or 9 o'clock traffic, and does this day in and day out. And you're doing this because
there will come a day when I won't have to clock in anymore. And that light at the end of the tunnel is coming up real fast. And I want to be able to make a transition and go to a place where I can be available to help people grow. And so I will be uh, transferring my energies from property management, which I've done for 30 years, and focusing my attention on doing personal development, coaching, and helping people grow.
so another wisdom teaching, Bob. I'm living, I have developed the pattern now for what I want my life to look like when I transition. I'm not going to say, well, you know what, I'm still working for Joe the job, so I'll just get up at 7:30, get in the car, drive to work, be there by 9, be home by 5. And then someday, maybe later on, when I finally get the time to retire, quit, whatever, then I'm going to suddenly magically be the 3 a.m. guy that gives his time to meditation, devotion, and personal development. No, what he's saying is I'm stacking my actions now. If I can master this little piece now, when I have the opportunity to do this other thing full time, then I'm just going to slide that in here and the bookends will be solid. I'm not going to have to rebuild the whole machine. I'm just going to have to change pieces of it out.
Exactly. You're laying a foundation for what you want to do in the future. And, most people say, well, why didn't you do this at 30? Well, I was not only working a full-time job, but I was also the men's ministry pastor at a large church here in San Diego for like 16 years. And so I was doing bivocational. I was a full-time employee at my property management, and then I was also putting in another 20 hours a week as a men's ministry pastor. And so it was a full life. I was very fulfilled in that, but I really felt like my gifts and who I am and what I have to offer is better served in becoming a life coach and helping people grow in personal development.
So I can't keep up. There's just so much you're doing. So I've always been near, around, or connected to my passion, because you said even 30 years ago you were helping men through ministry. It just had a different form. And so often I'll hear people say, well, that's not part of my vision. I'm like, maybe you need to recheck your vision, because right now maybe that's where your passion, your purpose can best be executed in this. And so I love the fact that even 30 years ago, you were kind of executing it with the tools and the knowledge that you had at hand. And now you've grown, you've developed, you've climbed up that mountain, so to speak, and you have a different vision for what it looks like.
Oh, absolutely. And your vision can change. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not static. And so you're constantly growing, so your vision is constantly going to grow with you. And so I had to learn that, hey, I have life experiences that equip me to do those things that are particular to me. And those are the life experiences that people can grow from. And hopefully in sharing them, then they can grow as well.
Okay, people, tune in, hear this. So we started this analogy, this story about doing the safety check around the plane, walking and checking and making sure you're there. Now as the plane is taking off, he has one vision, the end of the runway, the control tower, the city that's at the end. Now as he's gained age and experience and wisdom and knowledge, he's at a different altitude, and the vision is different. His goal is still to navigate the plane, to get it to the safe destination, to be able to, analogy, carry people forward. But as he's gone through this journey, each part has required him to have a different set of tools and a different set of vision awareness. And I think it's important you guys hear this. we get so locked into this idea that's taught to us in self-help books, and I'm not against them because I've got like 1,000 on my desks and in my bookshelves and on my floor. But we get this belief that we have to have one vision for life, you know, like build your vision now, come to the weekend seminar. And if we don't grab the vision during that weekend seminar, we get caught in trying to keep up this, like, what is going to be my vision? What is, I can't start my career. I can't start my business. I can't start my life because I don't know what my vision is. And I love the way you brought it in for us, Steve. It's like, it's going to change, folks. Don't bury your vision, live your passion.
Absolutely. If you're ministering out of your passion, okay, you're going to find that being able to stay in that place and continuously grow will end up equipping you long term when the time comes that you want to step into that full time. There's nothing wrong with looking at what you do for a living. In my case, property management. The
Which is
people
a
that
thankless job.
yeah, it can be. Being able to understand that you are ministering to every person that you come in contact with, whether they're coworkers or whether they're people managers or whether they're people that live in your complexes. You're interacting with people every single day. So you're having to ask yourself, how can I add value? How can I help that person? How can I make a difference that when they walk away, they say, hey, that was a good interaction. That worked. And
Well,
if you move out of your passion, you can do that.
yes. And so Diane's here, and we did a Fun Friend Friday, and she talked about her father and how his legacy has really stayed in town and echoed long after his passing because of the person he was, because of the way he would stop and acknowledge somebody holding a door, pouring a cup of coffee, greeting the kids at school. And I'm not as good as your dad yet, Diane, but I try whenever I go through life and I see somebody wearing a name tag at the grocery store, and instead of just saying thank you, Darlene, thank you, Bob, thank you, whatever, and meet them face to face. And I think what you're saying is the same way as if your passion is to be of service to people, why do you contain it to the assigned speaking gig, the paid coaching client, the mastermind that you have scheduled at 5 o'clock? Why aren't you practicing it every single day in maybe the profession that you're using to fund the education to live your passion?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the thing that we sometimes, myself, I won't speak for anybody else, but for myself, is sometimes you lose sight of the opportunities that are placed right in front of you to walk in those things that you're gifted at. And sometimes we're so distracted with looking down the road to something that's going to happen a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, and we lose the chance of being able to use it here and now. You know, I look back and I always say life is like driving a car. At 64, I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and there's a lot more road behind me than there is in front of me. And so I can be distracted by trying to drive with the rear view mirror, but that doesn't work because I'm going to crash if I don't pay attention to what's going on. Or I can look so far down the road that I miss what's right in front of me. And I'm learning you live now. This is all you have. Take advantage of it, walk in it, and use that which God has gifted you so that you can help others.
I thank you. Um, I don't know where it came from. It may have come through a Facebook Live, but at some point I heard myself say, "Now is not always," and
Yes.
that holds for me in so many ways, because when I'm in a dark season, when I'm in a trial, and when it's like, when I just stick fingers down my throat kind of thing, I can say, wait a minute, now is not always. What this feeling is not always. And equally so when I'm in a moment of hanging out with my kids or being joyful or being in the right place, I can be like, man, now is not always. You have got to dive in and hold it. And I think what I'm learning from people like you and from others that I get to share this time with is they are realizing that now is Like now is the moment that I have, or as Diane is now using, today is the day. It's like I can find vision, or my church calls it live sent. I can be sent into a mission field at a car wash if I take time to become aware of others. I was at Office Depot the other day, plug for Office Depot if you want to sponsor the show. And this woman was looking at journals and she picked up one and I kind of said, can I give you some advice? And she looked at me. I'm like, I hated that one. She's like, why? And I'm like, well, the paper started to tear and blah, blah, blah. And, kind of went into why it's a crappy journal. And she said, I said, what are you using it for? And she said, well, I'm starting to write and I'm doing Bible study and this is what I want to do. And we had about a 10-minute discussion. And I shared with her the ACT principle that act, change, teach. And we ended up connecting and we're going to meet offline to share some other lessons. But it was because I could see that she was there in that moment. I thought, well, worst she can do is beat me over the head with the journal. I connected with somebody at a different level than if I had just bumped past her with my shopping cart.
Absolutely. And those are the kind of opportunities that come to us every single day. Going back to what we talked about earlier about meditation and starting your day, you have to set your mind and you have the right mindset that says, look, I'm just not wandering through life. This has to be intentional. You have to look for those opportunities. You have to seize those opportunities. And when they happen, you have to live in those opportunities.
Yes. I often will say in my meditation, prepare me for the moment you need me at.
Oh, I want to show up ready.
Yes. So prepare me, like if I need to learn something, teach something, grow something, start preparing me so that when that moment shows up, it feels like that's where I belong. Like raise my awareness, raise my abilities, raise my compassion, raise whatever it is that needs to be raised up today. So when you need me, I am fully ready, resourced, and able to take advantage of it. I love that. So you get to retire in what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks?
I only wish. No, I think I probably have a couple more years left. But, I guess some people would say, I can't wait till I get to the point where I'm 66 and I retire.
That's okay. My kids will still be in high school, so
There
that
you go.
has no charm for me.
Sure. I'm kind of coming to the point where I realize that, I may not ever retire in the sense of the word. I'm just simply going to shift my attentions from working for somebody else to doing full time what I feel like I've been called to do.
I love that. And so right now I realize that you have sort of a different vision of what it will look like. What is the thing that's pulling you into that? What is the string that's like, man, I can see it in your face, I can see it in your energy that you're being pulled into that, and there's a really clear tension, which is a good thing, between you and it. What does that feel like, sound like for you?
Well, I know that when I think about what might be out there as far as, what it all looks like when it becomes fleshed out. But I found that in life, sometimes what you plan in your mind is not anything close to what ends up happening to you.
Amen, brother.
So I try to stay as flexible as I can, at least in my mind, and try to be able to work on those things that you're deficient in now, so that when you walk into it, whether it's on a full-time basis or whether you just shift energies so that you are spending more time doing that, your growth is not stunted or behind the curve. You're advanced and in front of the curve. And that's where you always want to try to staying in front of that curve. And the thing that you probably see is my passion for people. I thrive at being able to help people. And when I'm able to share with them and give them something of value that they can run with, then, that fulfills me. That's what kind of lights my candle. I'm going, yeah, this is what I'm gifted to do.
So I love that. I love that. So we're gonna get to your Fun Friend Friday. Don't worry, you get to play the envelope game. But yesterday, I know you were on the live, and we ended up with the challenge of I am unique. How did you address that challenge?
I have a mentor who has been working with me, and I think everybody needs to have a mentor or a coach that is speaking into your life. And this particular friend, and he knows who he is, um, has
Does
been
he eat
working with
pasta
me.
often?
Well, he's one of them. He's one of them. I've got more than one actually,
Smart man.
but and so yeah, he's eating ravioli. Um, this particular friend of mine has really challenged me to understand the fact that I have some very unique things that are specific to who I am, that nobody else can do exactly what I do as me. And so I'm able to walk into places that um, most people or some people would never ever be available. I walk into those places and simply use the gifts that I've been given. And so I am unique in that I am me. There's nobody else like me. I am specific. Now, I have some resemblances to my father, and you can kind of make the correlations to that spiritually, but I do have some very close resemblances to my father. I have the same mannerisms. I have the same inflections in my voice. My face looks a lot like my dad. If you put a picture of him next to me, we look very much alike. But I am me. I'm not him, and he is not me. And so what I carry with me is very unique to who I am.
I love that because I, as you said, you can walk in a place that one physically I'm not available for. I mean, I'm in Atlanta, you're in San Diego, you have an opportunity, I can't get through due time or space, but you can also walk in with your own history, your own awareness, your own likes and dislikes, the style of your voice, the way you communicate is chosen to connect with the person at the time that it needs to connect with. And, in coaching and definitely in sales, I teach people about mirroring and matching, how to gain influence by knowing your other person, if they're a D, how to talk to a D and things like that. But still, even in me trying to do all of that manipulation, I am still inside of that uniquely me. And I agree with you that you are you and only you are chosen to step into certain mission fields or certain opportunities to raise people up. And so, like I said yesterday, it was kind of interesting how few people felt that being them was enough.
It has to be enough because that's all you have. And when you bring your best, it's amazing what is able to be done with that. And while I can compare myself to others, it doesn't help me at all. I'm always going to find that they have something better or something more. And I have to understand that I am me and this is what I have been given and I'm going to use it. I'm going to steward it to the best of my abilities and not squander any of the opportunities that are given to me.
I'm trying to figure out, I wish I could just hit the replay button, but I'm going to do my best. But it has to be enough. That's all you got. That's a big thing. It's has to be enough. It's all you got. So quit wasting time comparing and contrasting and complaining that it's not, because guess what? That's it, folks. You is you. You don't get another one. You don't get to trade it in. You don't get an upgrade. You don't get to download software. And so I love that idea that this is it, folks. Take it, love it, or leave it. But this is the starting point. Now from here, it's up to me to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, and the thing of it is life is like is a journey, of course, and you only have this moment. I mean, none of us are promised tomorrow, and our past is already gone. And as you said, comparing yourself to others ends up being just a waste of time. It's an exercise in futility. And so one of the things that I try to do is, at least in my mindset, is to say, hey, I'm here right now. I'm available. What can I do? If I don't ask myself that, then that moment is gone. I'm never going to capture it again. If somebody stops to interact with me, then they're probably giving me what, and they may not even know this, but they are giving me the most valuable thing that they possibly own. And by giving me 5 minutes of their time. And I mean, all these people that are on this Facebook Live watching us right now are investing their lives in us and letting us speak into them. So we don't want to miss the opportunity of being able to share some of the things that maybe have helped us along the way with them, so that maybe if they encounter something that we've been sharing about, all of a sudden it clicks for them and they go, okay, I think I've got it.
And Elizabeth got it. Elizabeth locked it in. And I have to agree, it is so humbling to me. And when I see you up at 5 o'clock, I'm like, Lord, I better deliver. If this man got out of bed at like 4:45, I better deliver. Because I understand time is a commodity that can't be given back. And I value what I gain from the experience, but I appreciate what people give and allow me to have this experience, because this Facebook Fun Friend Friday, I love, because I always go back and I dig up notes, and I'll probably steal a few things and use it later on in another Facebook. But also being ready for Facebook Live every morning, I have to level up my learning. I have to level up my thinking. I have to level up myself so that I'm not wasting people's time, because we don't have it. We don't have it. Steve, you're bringing it big, but we got to get to the fun part. So, as you may know, and those that are visiting for the first time, you definitely have to hit the share button starting now, because it is time for the Fun Friend Friday fun part. And that's not the shirt that I wore. Yes, it's all part of the new thing. So as you know, we have our Fun Friend Friday envelopes, and each one has a word. And I'm going to get better at setting them down so I don't drop them. The words are things like intuition, desire, persistence, curiosity, priority, trade-offs, legacy. And what I asked my son to do is go through the deck and then pull out a couple that he likes. It was cute because back in the day, he didn't know what some of the words were. He couldn't read them, and they were kind of big words. Now, through reading the deck several times, and also he's getting older, he's becoming a little more intentional in stacking the deck. He has certain words he likes. I don't know what it is about him. So I have no clue what's in the envelope because he took care of it. But you get to pick from the green clover, the rainbow, the orange star, yellow moon. I was like brain dead for a minute. Blue diamond and red balloon. And so while everybody puts their vote in of what he should do, I got the music back this time. So cast your vote. Should it be the red diamond, the green clover, the yellow moon, the rainbow? So what do we got, Steve? I can't go more than 15 seconds, or YouTube says I copyright infringed, and I go to YouTube jail or someplace
True.
like that.
Yeah. Oh boy, I feel a little bit under pressure here, but we're gonna go with the star.
The star. I like we just created a new one, red diamond. The star. There we go. All right, yellow star. And so, by the way, you guys, if you're doing something like this on Facebook, remember that Facebook reverses image because it's not a true camera. And so why I chose symbols is because upside down, right side up, left, right, reversed, it looks somewhat normal. And the second insider trick, I wrote what was on the front, on the back. So when I'm standing here showing it to you, I can look down in the corner. So if you're ever doing something on stage or doing a presentation and you have to do slides, always write on the back what the slide is so you're not doing like one of these things and being annoying. So insider tip 101, just for those of you growing and developing your business. And then, ooh, it's, you know, it's always so funny because it seems like the words match up the lesson and it's all pre-divine. So in the spirit of Steve Harvey, your word is experience. So you get to give us a little teaching lesson on experience. Your minute with Maxwell.
Experience. Experience is something that you can hold on to for your entire life. Those experiences that you and I have been able to share, and me and my family have been able to share years ago, are now what we call memories. Memories are what allow us to give meaning to our former experiences. What we're experiencing right here and right now are opportunities. And we experience this right here, right now. We don't experience tomorrow today. We don't experience yesterday today. We experience life now. Take advantage of the experience of life. Don't miss those things that you are going to be taught and things that are going to be shared with you that you can take and bless and share with someone else. If you've been given something to make you richer, the most valuable thing that you and I can do is to share that with somebody else so that they can be richer too. If I can share any one thing with someone that makes their life fuller and more accomplished and are able to achieve, then I will feel like I have given the best of what I have to help them grow.
So you touched on sort of Eckhart Tolle's the idea of being. That being can only be experienced in the action of current and not in the past and not in the future. We can't be in the future. We can't be in the past. And I love the way you said that experience is the energy of now. Like if you're on the roller coaster, you're not experiencing the roller coaster ride if you're sitting in line. Or if you're getting off it, you're only experiencing it when you're on it. And so I love the idea that we don't experience our past and we don't experience our future. We only experience the ride that we're on in the moment that we're on it. And if we don't capture that experience, we don't get to reclaim it.
Absolutely. And in alluding to your illustration here, you know, I don't understand people that get on roller coasters and close their eyes. I mean,
I don't know why they get on them.
I'm gonna have my eyes wide open because I want to enjoy the experience. Now, I've had the opportunity to jump out of an airplane at 13,500 foot. I didn't close my eyes. I wanted to capture everything from my senses so that I could enjoy that experience as I remember it. And if I had my eyes closed, and that's the way life is, don't go through life with your eyes closed. Keep your eyes open.
Yes. Keep your eyes open, your heart open, and your mind ready to receive.
Absolutely.
I think we had talked about it a couple of lives ago about walking through life as a zombie or one of the living dead. I love that idea of experience. I love thank you. Thank you for adding that to us today. The idea that the word experience doesn't exist in the past and it doesn't exist in the future. It only exists where we're standing. And if we're not standing firmly, feet solid, heart in, we get nothing out of it. Love that. Love that. See, you guys, don't you love Fun Friend Friday? Thumbs up. Thank you, Steve, and all of that. Man, see, this is why I love doing fun. Excuse me. Because you shift my awareness. You move me from where I was thinking to where I could be thinking. And then when I get to go back and read the comments and see what everybody else was thinking, I do see the compounded effect of the collaborative effort that we all put in. And so I thank you and I celebrate you for coming in so openly, so full, so like you just brought it big. And at 5, almost 6 o'clock in the morning, no less. Lord. And no coffee cup. At least Sonia had coffee cup standing on by.
No, and I want to take this opportunity because I know that we're going to be wrapping this up pretty quick, but I want to thank you for the opportunity to come on here and share. Uh, I count it a privilege and an honor to be actually invited and asked to be here because I mean, this is your Facebook Live. You've taken time um, to give a place for these people to come and gather, and then you turn around and give others the opportunity to be able to speak into the life of other people. I appreciate that. And hi to all of my friends out there who I know are watching. The thing of it is that they're part of who I am because we interact in those comments that we make to you. And, there's times when Sonia or Melanie or Julia or Greg or any of the others will make a comment and you never know when that nugget is exactly what you need for that day. And so, Eric, don't minimize the importance of having this venue open and available to people, because even if they interact just a little bit, they're giving of themselves to make other people rich.
Well, I will receive it with the heart that it is given. And for me, I hear what you're saying. And yes, there are points during the day I'll get a private message, or I'll come back and I'll see a conversation start between you and somebody else, or I'll sort of hear through the Facebook grapevine that so-and-so talked to so-and-so when they really needed a word. And yeah, we are a community of people. And I love that technology allows me to say that you're my friend, but yet we've never sat and broke bread. And I feel that that friendship is as genuine with you as it is my neighbor, as it is with people living in Dubai and around the world. So I love that because we share a passion, because we share a servant heart, because we share a vision, those that come and gather here, time and distance sort of fade out.
Right.
So thank you for honoring me by being here this morning. Any upcoming things, projects that you're working on, masterminds? I know you're sort of in the development space, but anything you got going on that people would be like, I want to know Steve more?
Well, they can always go to my website, kineticcoachingsd.com, and I'm available there. I'm also on Facebook. Right now, I'm kind of doing a little bit of paring back. I find sometimes I get distracted by a lot of stuff. Not unlike a lot of people, but I've kind of pared things back and getting ready to go more specific into some things here, probably just before the end of the year, first part of next year.
I appreciate it. So you guys do check them out. Say thank you. Send them a message. Let them know. It's amazing the network of people and the opportunities and the needs. I did some coaching training the other day with somebody halfway around the world as a connection of this. So I love it. I have to thank you again humbly for being here, but when I see your face pop up, and if it doesn't, I understand because we've talked offline, and I see you're up there at 5 a.m. in the morning your time, I'm like, I got to game up. You and Dr. Holly Kelly, these 4 a.m. risers that get up and fully dressed and showered and ready to start the day, make me perform at a higher level. And so I want you to know personally that there are days that it's like, okay, got to get on the game. Steve's waiting on me. So you have been an accountability coach for me in many ways, and I thank you for that. But I thank you for the nuggets and the wisdom that you dropped here today, and for the awareness that you shifted. You guys take these Facebook Lives, put them in your car, listen to them throughout the week, because this is sometimes an hour of learning, and there's no way you can get it all at once. Trust me, I go back and I listen to it 2 or 3 times, and in my notebook, which is over there, I take quotes, and then I'm like, I expand those ideas out, I expand that thinking out, and that's where Facebook Lives sometimes come from. So that idea is, I'm going to be digging into that. Hey, this is it. This is all you got, people. It better be enough, because it ain't coming back for a second term. So I thank you for that. And I get to play you out with our Thank You for Being a Friend music. If you guys would give me a help and thanking Steve with some hearts and some likes and some thumbs up for being here as our guest today. Take a moment and send him a thank you note through Facebook or live. I think I got the music only version. Oh, there it goes. Now we got the music only. We should have Dave here, our jazz sax fan. He'd be able to do it. Thank you, Julia, for the shirt. It's a Fun Friend Friday Fruity Frock, which I think
Fruity
is a
Frock.
now. Fun Friend Friday Fruity Frock. Hey,
Festive Fruity Frock.
That is a fruity frock. Travel down the road, Becca. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of Fun Friend Friday. I am going to move it. It'll stay here in the feed, but it'll also go up on the YouTube channel. Just Google Fun Friend Friday if you get to YouTube, and you'll be able to see this as well as many others. And we've got guests coming in next week as well. So thank you again, Steve. I know you still got like 2 hours before you got to head into the office, but I appreciate you giving us so much of your time this morning.
My pleasure, Eric. Anytime.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you all tomorrow, Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern. Bye-bye.